Thank you, Ben. Well, we are getting set. There's the board. You see the riders on the line. Bikes are fired. We're just sitting here waiting. Kind of tense right now, the start of the second moto, isn't it, David?
Well, you know, these guys don't get a chance to look at the track. That's the one thing I always remember, and it takes you a couple of laps to get into your pace and find out that it's that much rougher after the 125s have been out there. And the guys that are able to do that quick are the ones that will have a big advantage.
There you see LaRocco, who won the first moto, is off quickly. Look from Rich Taylor's helmet cam, the Honda helmet cam, through that first turn.
Oh, it's hard to tell what's going on up front. That's why you want to be up there, not back in all this mess. You see the vision starts to go, the dust, dirt. And if any of these riders go down, you're right in the middle of it.
Oh, and look at that. Taylor almost gets into David Gaylord. Now the drop down into the pit. It looks like Todd DeHoop got the whole shot. Then you've got McGrath, Doug Henry. You've got Ron Titchener and Albertine, who jumped off to that big lead early on. Here in the second moto, did not get quite as good a start back in the 6th spot.
Well, we'll see how good Albertine is at carving through the pack, but right now McGrath has got the start he needs. He said he needed to save energy, and he'll be able to do that with this good start. He's got to get around DeHoop, though. He's got to do it quick.
Well, right now he's got to worry about his Honda factory teammate, Doug Henry. Henry making a move on the inside as he will sweep around McGrath, take over the 2nd spot. Meanwhile, Todd DeHoop, the Honda of Troy rider, out in front of Doug Henry, but he slips a little bit to the wide side. Henry on the inside. Doug going up the jump. He will power past DeHoop and take over the top spot. And David, you can see just how dusty it's getting out there.
Right, it's pretty clear vision for these guys, but as you move further back in the pack, probably about to where the Kawasaki guys are, you can't see the ground and all those rocks. If your front wheel hits one of those, you're going down. It happened a couple of times to Kudrowski in the first moto.
We see Doug Henry, and now Jeremy McGrath trying the inside. He cuts off Henry. They will come up the elevator, and McGrath maintains the lead as they sweep around to the right side. What a great move there by Jeremy.
Awesome move, and you know, Jeremy's got the speed. I don't know if he's got the stamina because of the flu, but he's got the speed, and if Henry can kind of hitch a ride, they might be able to get away from the field. You see LaRocco there and Kudrowski, not that bad of a start, but they're buried behind a few riders, including DeHoop, who could act as a buffer for these two Honda teammates.
Well, it looked like Jeremy just took a tearaway off there as he came around that turn. Get a little air there, but not too much. Once again, you've got two factory Hondas out front. Then you've got the Honda of Troy bike of Todd DeHoop. How big a difference, David, between those bikes?
Well, it's a pretty big difference. You know, what you've got the luxury of, as you mentioned, you heard Skip Norfolk talking earlier about dialing in Jeremy's suspension to save energy. They have that luxury. They can make any change they want. The bikes are typically a little bit lighter, and the power band is a lot better, but most of all, I think the suspension. And that gives you the confidence to charge through these holes without letting your arms get pumped up just from riding so tense.
There's the green flag out. Let's see as Albertine and Todd DeHoop side by side come over the start-finish line in a dead heat for 3rd place. Albertine got off to a 6th place start. Now he's trying on the inside. He's trying to move up into that 3rd position. He's already made up a couple of spots, but it didn't work right there.
Well, he knows he's got to get around DeHoop and not let those Honda guys get away, which is already starting to happen. And he's going to have company from the two Kawasaki riders that are coming up from behind, very strong.
And also Anthony Amaradio in number 33, he is starting to make his move as he has moved into the top 6. But now you see Albertine has gotten around into 3rd place, and there's Amaradio on the 33 bike, and right behind him, do I see? Yes, it's Mike LaRocco and Mike Kudrowski.
All these factory bikes trying to move around the privateers. You've got Albertine on the charge. He's staying in contact with the two Honda guys and the Kawasaki riders. Pretty decent start for a change. They've got their sights also on the leaders. You heard Henry's mechanic earlier refer to it's hard for the guys to charge the lead if they can't see him. Everybody's right there. Oh! LaRocco's down.
Mike LaRocco coming around that flat turn, just lost it. It looked like he got in there just a little bit too hard and washed out. Let's take another look at it.
Watch how close Kudrowski comes to LaRocco. Almost runs over his teammate LaRocco, doing a good job of getting going again. You know, this is the same section that we saw earlier in the show from the helmet cam, how slick it was. You saw those two riders go down. Plus, there was a lot of dust right there, so LaRocco couldn't really focus on where the traction was.
Meanwhile, a battle for 2nd place shaping up between Albertine and Doug Henry. You see Jeremy McGrath starting to pull away just a little bit, but neck in neck Albertine. Oh, he comes down pretty hard and loses just a little bit of ground to Henry. Henry will try to protect that inside line. Albertine going to the outside. Let's see if he can sweep off and make the pass. Oh, he does. He just barely gets past Doug Henry. That was a great move, David.
And a much-needed move for him. He smoked McGrath in the first moto, and he probably feels like he can go up there and challenge him for the lead. Oh, big swap by McGrath. You can see between motos, that track gets rougher and rougher. These guys are hitting stuff, and until they start to find their lines, they can expect to get a little squirrely here and there.
Well, Albertine running now in second place. He finished in second in the first moto. He's looking to maybe get around McGrath, win, and wrap up the first moto victory of 1995, his first since moving over here to the United States. We are in the early stages of moto number 2, and we'll be right back after this. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and John Kernan back at Gatorback Cycle Park. You're looking at Mike LaRocco, who has fallen early on in Moto number 2, and he has dropped back in the pack. He's having to work his way up. He won Moto number 1.
You see him jumping that long plateau, passing Amaradio, working that outside line, staying out of all those bumps. He's going to save energy that way, but the leaders are starting to get away. I think he still looks pretty strong after that crash, but that sure can take the wind out of your sail.
Well, it doesn't look like he did any damage to the bike. He was able to get the bike up and going very, very quickly. Right now, he's slowly dicing his way through traffic as he tries to chase down the leaders and try to get back into a position to come away with the overall victory for today. Now, the leader back up front is Jeremy McGrath, and let's check into his pits where Art Ekman is standing by.
Skip, a great start. What did you do between motos to settle him down and get him some rest?
Well, I just got him cooled off and get his lungs cleared out and kind of just keep him relaxed a little bit. And just kind of went together and said, hey, we got to get a better start so you can get out front. Hopefully after the end you get a little time in and you can rest a little bit, turn the moto. But Albie's on him right now. Kudrowski's back there. LaRocco looks like he's coming on, so it's going to be a long 30 minutes.
And what McGrath has going for him right now is that these guys dicing for second. They're sort of riding defensive and possibly slowing each other down. That's allowed McGrath to sort of check out. He's going to need a big gap when LaRocco and those guys catch up.
But right now, Albertine has gotten around Doug Henry. Well, I spoke too soon. Something happened to Albertine right there, David. He slows way down. He had moved around into the second spot, and apparently he's got some kind of a problem as he slows down. You see Kudrowski and now LaRocco is finally moving into your picture, but Doug Henry is in second. Let's check into his pits with Art.
Well, there's so much competition out there this year. One little mistake and boom, they take advantage of it. And Doug this time took advantage of number 111.
Yeah, I think Albertine's having a hard day. I believe something's wrong with his bike. I think he missed a couple of gears, but that's okay for us. We're going to take advantage of whatever we can get.
Well, if he's right there and Jeremy should will, Jeremy hasn't been feeling that well.
Well, Jeremy beat him in the first moto, so I'll look for Jeremy to be pretty strong, but, you know, I'll just have to see what I can do to get my rider going.
Right now, Henry's in second. Third place belongs to Albertine, but Kudrowski closing in on him. And before we talk to Pete, I'd made the mention it looked like might be something wrong with Albertine's bike. What do you think, David?
No, I think he still looks pretty good. Nothing appears to be wrong. He's getting sideways. I thought he might have had a flat there a minute ago, but I think it's just the lines he's choosing. He's hitting all the holes, and you know, he's missed a couple of gears that way.
Well, let's check into his pits and see if there is, in fact, a problem with Art Ekman.
Ian, is there something maybe wrong with the bike?
I'm not 100% sure, but he didn't jump that big jump there at the back on the last lap, but he's just jumped it now, so maybe he missed a gear or something. I'm not 100% sure. I'll see now when he comes by.
Another great battle in your hands.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Right now, Ian's rider, Albertine, is running along in the third position ahead of Mike Kudrowski. And oh, look at that. The Kawasaki of number 1 Mike LaRocco has pulled it over, David. I wonder what the problem is.
Well, by that gesture he just made, I think he's out. He's not going to finish this moto. What a bad break. Winning the first moto, he's going to drop 25 points right here. And probably one of his toughest competitors, McGrath, is out there leading it. That's got to be possibly the championship down the tubes right there.
Yeah, but it's still too early, isn't it? I mean, if you're going to have bad luck or a problem like that, look, they're picking up the front wheel, dragging it off. I wonder if there's a problem with the hub, the spokes, or...
He could have broken the front wheel. I mean, it's got to be something to do with the brake, or he's broken the front wheel completely. The track is just so hard packed, and all the bumps are really sharp. And there's a couple of places where if you come up short or just on some of those dropaways, it puts so much force on the bike. And, you know, it's really unusual for guys to break down these days, but it happened.
Well, he won the first moto, so he gets 25 points for that. He's going to miss this. That's no points as we see the dejected Mike LaRocco, the defending national champion, walking slowly back toward the pit area. But like I said, this is the first race of the year. If you're going to have something like this happen, I guess you want it to happen early. You certainly don't want this to happen at the end. And there you get a look at Yamaha independent rider Brian McElroy out of Ridge Manor, Florida, as he says, come on, guy, hop on my bike and I'll give you a ride back.
Brian's hoping some of that speed will rub off on his Yamaha. Well, this is disastrous for LaRocco. I remember in 1985, I was dicing with Brock Glover the last lap of the first moto, and I crashed at the bottom of that hill right there, right before the finish, and was unable to finish the moto. So I dropped 25 points right away. And the rest of the season, I was playing catch-up and basically handed the title over to Brock Glover.
Well, these three riders trying to play catch-up to Jeremy McGrath, your leader. You're getting a look now at Mike Kudrowski, who has gotten around Greg Albertine and moved into third place. Doug Henry, the Honda rider, continues to hold down the second spot. And as you take a look at the Honda field summary, we'll let you know that we will be back with the closing stages of Moto number 2 after this. Back at Gatorback Cycle Park just outside of Gainesville, Florida. There you get the signboard McGrath number 1, Henry number 2, and the number 7 bike of Mike Kudrowski is making a run at Henry to try to move it to the second spot. He sweeps along, gets the drive up the hill, and he just made that look easy, David.
Well, he sure did. You know, Mike's got the strength and the stamina, and he's proved himself outdoors. He's won the 250 title before, and he's just showing Henry what it's all about right there. I think his mechanic, Brian Lunas, where he had kind of jokingly put on the board his positions, he put you third. You make the move now. You got to go after the leader.
Well, right now he is in second going after the leader. Now, we told you LaRocco has had a problem. He is retired for this moto. Let's check in with him.
Well, it's going to be an interesting season. That's an understatement. What happened on the crash out there, Mike?
Well, when I landed up that jump, my front hub had broke, and the wheel just got tied up in the forks and twisted, and I fell over. So wasn't much I could do about that one.
Well, you didn't have to wait for a taxi back.
Nah, luckily Brian McElroy gave me a ride up, saved me from walking up the big hill.
Well, I've been there before. It's not a fun place to be, but he's being a pretty good sport about it.
Yeah, there he is. He takes his goggles. Now he'll make his way back to the pit. Up front, meanwhile, Jeremy McGrath. Remember, he finished third in the first moto this afternoon. He is currently leading it, and David, he has pulled out to a really good... Oh, look at Greg Albertine. Albertine, who had been running along in the third spot, he is now pulled off the course.
Looks like the rear wheel. I saw Roger looking at the back of the bike. He's broken the rear wheel. You see it's all wobbly, plus he's got a flat tire. Of course, when the spokes get loose, they just poke through the tube.
Well, Steve Lamson had a problem in the 125 motos earlier today, so I wonder if we're beginning to see some problems crop up for some of these guys.
Well, the track's obviously wear and tear on the motorcycle. You know, McGrath, it makes me think he's riding to save energy. And when you ride that way, you're less wear and tear on the motorcycle. You're trying to set it down soft everywhere.
Well, Art Ekman is down in the pits, and he's got more on this development.
Most all the teams, after Steve Lamson had his tire problems earlier in the 125, had tires in surplus waiting in case of an incident. Greg Albertine's team had to run and get the rear tire. His spokes have been shot, and the tire was actually flat. So a bad break for Greg Albertine here in the second moto. Greg, where did it happen?
I think on the big jump, just going down into the quarry. It's absolutely massive, and it's getting pretty rutted up there.
So the impact was what just blew it, is that it?
Well, I don't know if I got the puncher first or the spokes broke, but for the last couple of laps I could notice it.
Well, here's a close-up look at that wheel. You can see it's shot. All the spokes are broken, a flat tire, and what a break from McGrath. These two guys were the only guys that really proved the speed, LaRocco and Albertine, that they could beat McGrath. Now they're both dropping 25 points to him.
Let's go a little further back in the pack. You've got John Dowd on the outside. You've got Todd DeHoof there, neck in, neck into the turn. They may have touched just a little bit, and John Dowd goes down, but he gets right back up. He's lost, what, about 2 spots there?
I think he only lost a couple of spots, but now Kudrowski's down again.
Oh, man, what a rough day for him.
He's been down on the ground quite a few times. I don't think he's going to want to put this behind him, but still, you know, in terms of position, he's not that far back. Having a pretty good day.
Not too bad a day while his teammate, the defending national champion, sits on the sidelines after winning Moto number 1. Moto number 2, he had a problem. Greg Albertine, who finished second in the first moto, is also on the sidelines. As you take a look at the Honda field summary, we will be back with the finish right after this. We are on the final lap at Gatorback Cycle Park as the first race of the outdoor season coming to a close. Jeremy McGrath, David, with the other two riders, with Albertine and LaRocco on the well. We've got another rider down, and I believe if we can get a look at the number plate.
It looks like Phil Lawrence.
Yeah,
and this is the top of that elevator, so I don't know if he went down in the corner or tried to jump that double and ended up all the way up here, but he doesn't look very good right now.
No, he looks like he's shaken up. Hopefully he wasn't hurt very seriously now, as one of the workers talking to him. But getting back to McGrath, what a way to start the season for him. All he has to do is hang on, and he will get the overall victory.
Well, it's going to be his first 250 Outdoor National win, first one of the season, and I think he's proved to everyone that he has arrived and he is a contender for the national title.
No Natnak. I'm kind of disappointed.
Well, he's got the flu. You got to remember, he probably didn't feel too good. He's got to be happy with his first outdoor win, though.
He's got to be very happy with that first outdoor victory of the season, and that's going to give him quite an advantage over the two guys who appear to be fastest in Moto number 1. There's a look at your results for Moto number 2. Kudrowski rallying for that second place finish. As you look at the rest of the top 10, Art Ekman is with Jeremy.